Interesting finals. Let's talk about it. You're on the turtle.
Turn it up, Jado.
And what's up, everyone? What's up? It is 10:15 on May 22nd, 2025. I'm Terradome on here for your listening pleasure for about a quick hour here. We might just talk. I'm going to be as fast and expedient as I possibly can as I pour my sparkling LaCroix. Uh, they ain't endorsing no money, but I'm practicing for when they do. LaCroix. Sparkling water, sponsored by Look. And they're not a sponsor, yeah, just tuning up. So let's see what we have on the docket today. We're going to talk a little bit about Brock's contract. The Amador Lenore. Knicks Pacers last night. RC versus RG3. And it kind of centers around the topic I was talking about earlier. I think I had it Tuesday in reference to Angel and Caitlin. And I spelled Caitlin wrong. I need to correct that. When I do, I'll let you know. Okay. Last night, I was privy to some wonderful basketball. It looked like the Knicks were on their way. They had a sizable lead at the end. I was kind of rooting for the Knicks because I know how it is. You've been waiting and debating for oh so long, just starving like Marvin for a Cool J song. It's been a long time for the New York Knicks to win a championship, so I'm just kind of I can feel their plight a little bit because it's 20 more years compared to our drought that's been since 1995. It should have been 30, yeah. And guess what? At the end, it was just so amazing how history can repeat itself sometimes. I was watching back in the day when those Pacers were playing the Knicks, and the great Reggie Miller uh, gave the choke symbol to Spike Lee on the sidelines, and it was something to behold. Reggie Miller, man, Reggie Miller was just on fire back in the day. Y'all have got to check it out, man. Reggie Miller was that dude. So let me set the atmosphere for you, if I will, if I may, if I may. It was going to be a cool time here, and I can turn it up a little bit of sound. I don't think they'll get me for that. It was a so Halliburton comes out and gives the choke symbol to the New York Knicks fans. I think he was pointing back at Spike because usually Spike Lee is on the sidelines and he's kicking it with everybody. But for him to come and do exactly what Reggie did, virtually, I think it's about 30 years later. Oh man, poetic justice, poetic justice. And it wasn't a three at the end. It was a two that tied. His foot was on the line, on the 3 point line. But this kid Halliburton, I was talking about him before the series started. Man, this kid's got it. He does. He really does. I love his shot. It arcs really good. You know, some people throw a magnificent deep ball. Some people have had like Russell Wilson is a great high deep ball thrower. It looks good leaving his hand, and the aesthetic of it is just great. A swing from Ken Griffey Jr. Um, the power of is a golfer named Ernie Els. He just had an elegance about his golf swing. It was like syrup when he just hit that ball on a descending blow, man. Right, impactful, taking just a scoop of mashed potatoes out of there for uh, for the divot, and the way his body bent and would just lean. Halliburton kind of reminds me of that it's Tyrese Halliburton. I think it's Tyrese. Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton. When I watch his jumper, when I watch him just put buckets in, this kid has this high arcing, nice release, and it goes up and it looks like a parachute pops when it's at its arc, and then it lands just inside and pops those strings, and you see the essence of why they called Steph and Clay the Splash Brothers, because the Nets will make a virtual splash through the upper cylinder, through the rim, as that ball descends, goes through and pops. And you know, what can I say, Knicks? I am so sorry. Y'all had to lead. I know I looked up with a minute left. You were up by, I think it was 9, maybe. I'd have to go back and look at that game, but they were up a sizable lead. Um, but those Pacers just came back and just kept on shooting, and then they would get a stop, and then they kept on shooting, and the Knicks might get a miss, and then all of a sudden it was a 2-point game, and then he went down and hit the free throws, and they cut it to 1, and then they went back again, and before you knew it, they were down 2 at the very end, and you saw what Mr. Halliburton did. Let me show it to you one more time. Hold on, let's look at it again. You gotta look at it just to imagine it. I wish I could make it bigger. I can't. Yeah, this side went down. 7.3 seconds.
2-point game. Indiana with it. Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal a free for the win. And he did
And it's Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller's doing the commentary. So it's even more killer to have Reggie Miller there doing it, man. I got to see it one more time. Watch it hit the rim. Look how high it bounces. That was just sick. It was just sick. I enjoyed that game a lot. And hey, that's just the beginning of the series. You know what I mean? What's up there? Choa Loa in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Where's my air horns? I see you on the air horns. I see some of y'all are on the Twitters. Please, by all means, come on in, say hey to your folks on the chat on YouTube. Jump back on if you want to go on Twitter. That is fine. It's dandy. As long as I am seen, as long as I am talking to a few people, it is all good in the hood. Next topic du jour. Oh, I also watched a little hockey last night. They had it on at the 911 Center. And Dallas Stars, congratulations on your game one over Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers. That was Edmonton was had that game in control until Dallas just caught fire. Man, they put up 6 goals. The final score was 66-3. 6-3. I was thinking about basketball, saying 60. They don't score 60 in hockey. You just got to be surprised when it happens. You're watching and it's like, hey, they skate. Oh, go! You know, hockey to me is kind of soccer on ice. if you will. Just the the suddenness of something. It's not framed like a football game could be framed, or framed like baseball. Bottom of the ninth, two batters on, two runners on, the pitch. It's framed. In football, third down and 7, ball on the 48. This one is, just seconds left, and then the play happens. That soccer and golf, man, that stuff just happened out of anywhere. It's just like, oh, well, dang, they done scored. They done scored a goal. But it's a cool game. It's a cool game. Respect all the athletes around the world. Looking back at the docket here, let's talk a little bit about contract. Brock's contract, because it's just been such a to-do about Brock's contract. We got haters just hating, they saying stuff like he ain't really getting all that and all of this, and just suck on a lemon, man. Keep sucking on a lemon. Brock actually did come in and sign his contract, his lucrative deal that is worth 265 million, 181 million guaranteed. But inside the numbers, deep inside the numbers where we live, a lot of the naysayers were saying things like, "Oh well, if we get Brock, if we give him money, it's just gonna mess us up. We're not gonna be able to afford anything else. We're gonna go broke. We're going to the poorhouse. We'll never win a Super Bowl." But the title of my thumbnail was "Winning the Offseason," and I gotta say that front office put this deal together so nice. I first heard of it last week when the great David Lombardi was speaking of it, and he says, even though Brock's signing for all of that money and he's going to get 181 in guarantees, it's not as big as a cap hit as you think. And he went on to say it's going to only be 8.5 as a cap hit next year. And then the year after that, it goes up to 24, but so will the salary cap. So it's not going to be this big, detrimental, penalizing, crippling a franchise contract the way other contracts are set up. The way they prorate it, the way they get inside the numbers, the way they subsidize and spread it out amongst the deal, they know how to do it with less pain and friction than you would ever think about. It's like buying a $300 home, but the way the deal is worked, you can afford it because it gets spread out over time and they're adjusting it as it goes. It's an adjustable rate mortgage versus the fixed rate. And, that's all you really needed to have was the adjustable rate. As long as you get in the house up front, if the interest rates are decent and sufficient, and, we don't have a bubble like we did, the adjustable rate could work. I don't suggest it. Always get a fixed rate, but if you're looking to keep some of your capital and have a lesser payment, you can work on the adjustable. And I'm just using that as an example for you realtors out there who are going to be like, "Oh, no, don't do that, don't say that." Hey, man, I'm just giving it to you the way making it palatable for the general audience and their consumption. Hey, that's how you say it there. Let me turn my light on. I might be Rob messing with so much, called me light skinned last week or a couple days ago. But the way the cap number works in 2025, it's showing 9.1. against the cap, not the 53 million that when we throw that number out there, 53 million per year, they just merely did uh, the division in 265 million over 5 years and just said it's going to be an average of 53 million per year. But the way the front office did and set it up, it's not affecting the cap number. That's the big deal. That's the issue. You didn't want a quarterback, and you don't want any team suffering the consequences of taking the average rate and affecting your cap because you got to sign, 53 other guys. And I'm just knowing that 53 keep coming up. Um, and then in 2026, it's going to be a $24.7 million hit, which sounds like a lot more, but with the cap exceedingly going up incrementally over time, that's not going to be to the detriment of the team. It goes up to 30, but keep in mind, the cap will go up as well. And as long as we're buying jerseys and getting Peacock and Hulu, the money's going to keep on coming in so the NFL can keep making these incremental adjustments and additions to that salary cap. So it's all good. I took the liberty of going around and looking at different chats and, let me just be honest, everybody. The haters are hurting. The haters are hurting. Those that thought, I don't know, we were going to sign some fictitious quarterback from somewhere or somebody else is going, or we shouldn't have gave Brock but 10 million or 5 million and make him play out his contract and all of this stuff. They just hurting so much. So I want to go around and see how they're commiserating because I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I like for you having a bad day. All you naysayers and master debaters, yeah, it's not your day. It's not your season. And it's a shame because a lot of them call themselves San Francisco 49er fans, but root against the success, the uh, uh, commitment to, and the compensation of one Brock Purdy. No matter what, it's just insult after insult. It's just, well, this guy just really ain't all that. And he doesn't deserve this money. And he shouldn't have this. And oh, I'm mad. He didn't give us a Super Bowl. And well, I took the liberty of really looking at some things. And Tom Palmacero tweeted something that was very, very interesting. Another stat, because you can't tell the illogical anything of logic because they just gonna call a man noodle arm, call him he don't deserve it, he shouldn't be there, he's not this, he's not that. But if you notice this stat here, and I try to make it as big as I can, pause. Um, since Brock Purdy became a starter, in passing yards per attempt, he's at 9. That ranks first in the NFL. Not just first in the conference, not just first in the Western division, not just first, amongst people from Iowa or people who went to school in Iowa, people from Arizona. I'm not tricking up any stats the way I was accused of last night, but nonetheless, yeah, that's the whole NFL. Since he started, it was December of 22, 9 yards passing per attempt. Passing touchdown percentage, he ranks second at 6.1. That's the whole league. That's everybody, AFC, NFC, MOUSE, all of them. He's second at a 6.1. His passer rating, what we use as the end all be all, the passer rating is at 106.2. And I'm saying, you sound like I'm in the, oh man, I don't want my sound to be bad. Hold on, let me get you right. How does that sound? Testing one, two. How does that sound? Am I 5 by 5 now? Is that better? Please give me Mark Scott 49er. Is that a good one? Is that sounding better? Test one, two. Give me a thumbs up. The same? Yeah, I've been messing with this microphone and a new soundboard that is not sounding good at all. How about now? Is this sounding better? Is it sounding better now? Louder, clearer? Anything? Same? I was afraid of this. Is that sound any better? Because you got to have good sound. That's very much important. Anybody, testing one, two. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How does that sound to you? Ooh, I should mess with this sucker. Saying very echoey. All right, I'll muddle through this as best I can. You see, I'm almost 30 minutes in, but those are the stats before you, and yeah, that's what I got to say about that on Brock Purdy. Let me see what else I got on here on the docket. Take this off. I was also, let me throw this tidbit at you. I was also on Next Gen Stats, and of quarterbacks who have thrown at least 455 attempts last year or the past season, Brock Purdy ranks first in air yards per attempt. Did anybody know that? That's for the people who are calling them noodle arm. And I got just a bevy of other stats to really bolster home what is the real deal, and that being one Brock Purdy. Lastly, I'll bring it on to this as I hit this slide here. And I think I shared this with you Tuesday. Since Brock Purdy took over in December of 2022, he is amongst the top 5 in total QBR. Just look at where he is sandwiched. He's third. Look at where he is sandwiched between, pause, that of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, number 3, Brock Purdy, number 4, Patrick Mahomes, and number 5, Joe Burrow. And yet, the haters are still hating because they want one of the other quarterbacks and not Brock Purdy. I'm just saying to my audience, the Golden Domers, and everyone else, please, by all means, take this into consideration and arm yourself and equip yourself when you're dealing with people who really don't have themselves together and are just saying stuff just to be spiteful and hateful, yet calling themselves fans. It has been a pleasure. Let me go ahead and do it. This is going to be a quick show, and I got some housekeeping to do here. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Good day, and God bless each and every one of you. Remember, we walk by faith and not by sight. In Jesus' name, amen. Take us home.